I have a very unsteady setup. I hope this is not going to collapse, knock on wood. Yes, hello everybody, welcome back. This is a tag that I've been waiting to participate in. Decks I wish existed. Right now I'm realizing I am completely blanking on who came up with this one, but I will obviously link the original video underneath this one. So go ahead and check that out in case you haven't seen it, and follow the hashtag because it's really fun. People are getting so creative. All right, so I didn't take into account whether these deck ideas that I have are for reading for others or only for reading for oneself, but I came up with these 10 ideas that I personally love in no particular order, except for the fact that I came up with them, that I thought of them in this order. I go pretty crazy in this tag. So if you're into not only good ideas, but also outrageous ideas, because I increasingly, I think, go outrageous, then keep watching. Of course, in order to get the artistic juices flowing, I went to my art collection, aka the vinyl cabinet. My first idea, Floor van het Nederland, I believe this artist's name is. I actually know him not well at all. He doesn't know I'm mentioning him. Hopefully it's not weird or awkward, but I don't care. I appreciate his art. So I imagine this type of stuff in a tarot deck. I imagine this deck to be fully scenic, lots of black and white as you can see, but still colors in his other works. I'll check out if I'm even allowed to show this, otherwise obviously there'll be a link below. There's a lot of color in his work, so I think there should be colors in this deck. I think it's an adventurous, dreamlike tarot deck. The lighting might have changed a little bit because I had to take a 20-minute break due to leaf blowers. PMA all the way. Okay, so I was talking about this artwork. Just showing you once more. Isn't this cool? Look at all the detail. Look at just this entire journey that you can go on. It's very dreamlike, and as I was trying to explain, that in most of his other artwork, we usually follow this cat. Now, obviously, that cat could be in the deck, but I think for the deck that I would make with this artwork, or would of course not make myself, but would motivate maybe to make this deck, it could be like a shadowy figure. And for this deck, I would like to, actually for all of these decks, I would like to stay away from typical Rider-Waite-Smith type imagery and really bring a new take on the scenic pips, because this would be so beautiful, right? Scenic pips, but stay away from the Rider-Waite-Smith stuff. Like, we have enough of those, I feel. Also, I will always be a sucker for 2 moons or 2 planets in the sky, like in Star Wars. For the second idea of the deck, I have this album by Molasses. Now, I really love this moody type of artwork. It's actually a real artwork. It's not computer or anything. I still have it in this protective thing, but it's a real live art piece of art, and then photographed in this beautiful light. So I will put the artist name in the screen. Now, I really love this, but honestly for the deck, I'm thinking of this type of artwork. And at this moment, this is all I have to show you, but I will put in some images if it's possible, or otherwise, you know, obviously it's linked below, because this is just so beautiful. I actually think it is Farida, I think, with her hair, beautiful long hair. But so listen, this, but then on every card kind of thing, and in this kind of blue. I'm thinking as I said, blue, these shapes, maybe more colors, not sure, or just different shades of blue, kind of Rorschach tests, which is, always symmetrical. I think that would work really well. And it would be an intuitive deck. Every card in this type of style, as in it's actually abstract shapes, but you can really see something in every card that obviously relates to the meaning of the card. And it would be an intuitive read, but always, as I say, made with purpose that fits every card. Now, somehow I got the idea that if this deck was ever made, a tarot deck with this molasses artwork, I'd want this deck to be tactile. So for it to be a tactile experience where you can touch the surface of the cards, and maybe some of these shapes could have an almost velvety feel, or a shiny smooth surface, or embossed. Maybe they are raised. Maybe some are kind of more of a prickly rough surface. Now, hopefully without compromising the shuffleability of the deck, but I think it would fit this deck as a kind of an extra sensory experience, where you can close your eyes. I totally see myself doing this for reading for myself. You can close your eyes, feel the card with your fingertips, and get an intuitive message from this journey that you go on with each card. And you go on the journey not visually like we did with this artwork, but with touch. So I think that would be amazing. And then still, obviously, aesthetically, it would still be really pleasing to the eye with this beautiful deep blue. This is just absolutely I love it. So that was my second idea. Then actually, just to show you another artwork that I really love, another type of artwork. Now, I don't think there are enough decks that really go into so much busy detail. Because yes, this is the psychedelic rock era, this is Cream, this really Gears album. But, this type of artwork, hand-drawn and collaged, in a tarot deck could be so cool. Like, maybe I am maximalist. I don't like minimalist tarot cards. Like, the molasses idea is actually the most minimal I think I'm going in this tag. But I think reading with a deck that's like this, but maybe has other colors as well, would be really cool. And you could focus on different areas in the cards and all of that, just to see what you read here, just to see what the message is. This is the fourth time they come and clean my street in the span of 1.5 hours. Really, honestly, how dirty can my street be? And what's this obsession with cleanliness anyway? Can't the world be a little bit dirty? Don't you agree, Pooch? Obviously she agrees. You're always so dark on camera. Show the Pooch. Obviously we need a dog deck, a pit bull deck, with artwork I actually love. More dog decks, just so we have more to choose from, because we have quite a lot of cat decks, don't you think? Not a lot of dog decks. There you go. Just so you know, she's beside me this entire video. I have a third one. Not enough Thoth decks. Okay? A beautiful Thoth clone is what I want. Not another exact Thoth imagery deck by Lady Frida Harris. Honestly, I love this artwork. I really, really do. But I think we are all ready for a beautiful Thoth clone that brings more, like maybe extra backgrounds to the pip cards. Yeah, something that brings more of a, you are kind of pulled into the cards. Not that I'm not at this moment, but I don't know, wouldn't it be cool to have just a really good Thoth clone out there with artwork that, yeah, that I like. Honestly, the Hermetic Tarot is tempting, but I'm gonna need bigger cards and colors. Also, I have seen Thoth-based decks, and look, I don't know, this might be a non-issue for some people, and I'm not saying it's really an issue, but it is something that we should still consider and think about, because the Thoth entities are gods, right, etc. But if we're making them look like human beings, then wouldn't it be great if there was diversity? Or just make them look like the way they look in the original Thoth deck, where Nuit really is dark blue and Babylon has this gold color, the Empress is green, the Emperor is red, etc. Like, do something about it. I think that would be cool. Okay, I have kind of like a next category kind of thing, and I hope this doesn't. There you go. It's about this deck. I hope this doesn't come across like I'm disrespecting these deck makers, because I definitely respect them, but I wish these following decks had different versions. I think I would order these different versions in a heartbeat if I have the funds for it, of course. Now, I love the Trionfi della Luna Paradoxical by Patrick Valenza. Now, I've been eyeing this oracle of him that has been around for quite a while, the Oracle of Black Enchantments, especially the blue one, because I'm so blue. The Midnight Edition looks great. I think, though, it's Midnight Edition, not a Seance Edition, the way he likes to call his Mildred Payne Oracle decks. So I don't actually think it glows under blacklight like the Triomphe does. But I hope to actually see a version of the Oracle of Black Enchantments that has black backgrounds and then the lines are in this blacklight blue. I think that would be really cool. Basically, I don't know. I feel maybe I shouldn't include this one, but it's just an idea that I have. I feel like I'm kind of basically not telling anyone what to do, obviously, but I just hope that this edition will come out, because basically what I would love to see, what I'm hoping for, is to see an Oracle of Black Enchantments paradoxical edition, basically. Number 5, I own the beautiful Living Altar Oracle, as big as my freaking head. I love it, but here's the thing. As you can see, the cards are gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I love this deck. I love working with it. It's permanently on my altar, as you have seen, probably. But that's the thing. The cards are huge. The deck is thick, and they are in this finish that make even a normal tarot-sized deck difficult to shuffle, because they do stick together. It's that rubberized thing that they call rose petal, and honestly, like, I don't remember who said this underneath one of my older videos, but individual cards feel amazing, especially this one, because it actually also has this spot gloss on the back. But an entire deck feels frustrating almost. Now, I hope to actually see, and it's the same thing, same kind of disclaimer thingy and awkwardness that I feel regarding the Patrick Valenza edition deck. I don't know, it's just ideas, okay? But I would love to see a travel-sized deck, a travel-sized version of this deck. So I'm thinking quite a bit smaller, then of course a bit thinner as well, different cardstock. I would keep my large altar edition, obviously, but I would be able to take the smaller size with me to places, hence the travel size. These are the spell cards. It's really an interactive deck. That's what I mean. Like with these types of cards, you can get this message, and these types of cards, it's telling you like, well, you need to do some type of magical work now, active magical work. But I think that this artwork, and I think most people will agree, really deserves to see the world and to get closer to the elements in nature. So this deck is so imbibed with magic, because every card is basically a spell. And I think the travel size would be able to see some dirt, some sand, maybe water droplets, I don't know, maybe even fire, and it would become even more of a magical tool. I love this deck so much, but I think, oh my god, this is just, I love this card. This is the card that made me cry when I opened this deck. Yeah, I think this deck eventually needs a smaller travel size. So, I know that's not very creative, but I don't know. Maybe just by mentioning it on my channel, being completely disrespectful of the of the deck makers. It's not my intent, really it isn't. It's just absolute deck appreciation and kind of saying, hey, I would buy this from you. Number 6, this is crazy and I have no idea if it could work, but you know how we've been seeing live action renditions of old animated movies, all that Disney stuff? Well, what about a kind of a live action Triomphe de la Luna? Maybe paradoxical, I'm not sure. With even the pips being real, like we would be looking at real coins, we would be looking at real people, real tower, real fire. We would be looking at real swords arranged in this way, real cups, all of that. Now, I see this as a weird deck, but then the live action Triomphe also has a weird deck, kind of like in between photos and computer, I think. Collage with lots of beautifully staged backgrounds. Imagine seeing this star come to life in that sense. Imagine, yes, this background, and then more details added, more depth. Maybe they could even be zoomed out a little bit. So again, this is kind of a crossing the line kind of thing, I feel. But again, it's just because I am absolutely, as you all know, head over heels in love with this deck. And all I want is to basically have a different version of my favorite decks, because we get so many, as I said, Rider-Waite-Smith based decks, and I have quite a few, I love them, but not enough Thoth based decks, and not so many Marseille either. So especially something as indie as this, obviously, we just don't get other versions of the same deck except for different colorations, which is already, must admit, really cool, right? That Patrick does that. But Patrick, if you're watching and you find yourself without a project, well, here's a massive one. Idea number 7. The coolest, craziest, most amazing and strange and deep still show I've seen in a while is, as you may know, the Midnight Gospel. I really, really did love it. I know there are already 2 Midnight Gospel tarot decks out there. Only one of them makes sense to me regarding which scene or person represents which archetype. I feel like one of them is more thought out than the other one. So basically, one of them I like, and I almost bought it. I even messaged the creator, but it's a majors only deck, and I just can't do majors only decks. It might change in the future, but for now, I'm like, no, I don't think that I would get over the idea that I would be missing the tarot as a whole, because I love all cards. What I would love to see, and maybe this could even, the show releasing their own deck, why not? It's a franchise, is that what it's called? I'm not sure. But I'm thinking, come on, Duncan Trussell, can't you make this happen? I would love to see a complete sense-making Midnight Gospel tarot deck, and make it funky, bright colors like in the show, and add in some holographic highlights and details in the cards. I think that would fit that deck so much. It's like we got all the moody dark decks that I love, and then this one would be like the confetti LSD craziness. Another idea I had, looking at my own altar and all of that, aesthetic stuff, that I actually do think is helpful in magical practice, as I explained in this video at some point. I think we need, as a community, a tasteful photography witch tool oracle. I'm thinking this is a photography deck to give guidance in doing magical work. I'm thinking make it dark, honest and real in the sense of it shows things in those photographs like dust on the altar, burned incense, candle wax all over the place maybe. No people though. I think I would love to see this as that spacious tarot where you can put yourself in the card. I think again, make it maximalistic, stuff everywhere, not even human hands in the pictures, really just the altars and then the tools on there to give the reader an idea of what methods to use for the intent that they wish to manifest at that moment. I think this would be a magical oracle for ideas, really. You know what? This might sound crazy, but I know that this is a personal thing, showing your altar, but this might even not be that hard to make. There are a lot of magical workers online these days that have good cameras and really cool, busy altars, as I said. It doesn't even have to be busy, just personal and real, that could just snap a few pictures of their altar and then, you know, we all do that. A couple of people do that. I don't know. We could make it like a 60 card deck or something, upload it into Make Playing Cards or anything like that. And there you go. You got yourself an oracle deck. Let's do it. If you're up for it, let's try it. I don't know. Okay, for the last two ideas, I've been thinking about bringing the tarot into different formats. These are just that. Let me know what you think. I know it's late into the video, but I really need a break. See you on the B-side. Do you remember those old Viewmasters? I think I used to have one as a kid. It's so nice. You can just put on the thing, shut yourself off from the world by looking at these slides that feel quite real actually, and because it's so close to the eyeballs, I think, if I remember correctly, because I haven't used one of those things in a really long time. Some of them were in 3D. Have that in the form of a tarot deck. Why not? I'm not exactly sure how it would work, but if it existed, and obviously I like the art style and all of that, I would love to get this, don't you think? You know, like a gadget guilty pleasure kind of thing. Might look silly going through the cards, but I don't care. I think make it 3D and in some sort of a storyline or anything, and you're golden. My 10th idea. I've saved the best for last. If you thought the previous one would make you look silly, wait till you hear this one. Here's something that's taking advantage of modern technology. Virtual reality tarot. I don't know if I'm the first one who brings up this idea, but I had this idea. I told you it was getting increasingly outrageous. I know that that would be an expensive deck to make for sure and to buy for sure, but just imagine this. You have the goggles, if that's what it's called, I have no idea. You have the game, I guess. You shuffle by letting the machine, I'm really showing my age, right? The computer randomize the cards, then you click stop or something when you feel like that's the card for you that day. Now, you put on the goggles thingy, you probably have these sensor things, one in each hand. I'm really good with these terms, aren't I? And you basically step into a full 360 degrees tarot card in which you can walk around and interact with everything and everyone in the card, and you can take a peek at what's usually beyond the borders of the card, of the artwork, or even within actually the borders of the card. That would already be really cool to be able to actually interact. Obviously it would be computer with limitations, but you know, actually interact. Like you could actually pet the lion in the strength card, although you might lose a hand. Who knows? I don't know what's the story in these cards, but still I think it's a good idea. You can walk the path in the moon card You can pick up every item on the magician's table. Just imagine that. And you can actually feel probably the weight of the cup, weight of the wand, weight of the sword, and how that feels differently in your hands, you know, because I think that's what that type of game actually does, is good at. You actually also feel the weight of things and how things feel in the hand almost. You can do some physical exercise in the Five of Wands card. You know, pick up a wand and join that that fight thing. Just imagine being able to do that with your favorite deck. And obviously, I know we can do that. It's called guided meditation or imagination that's used in pathworking. That all happens in your head. But I think it's a whole other feeling when you actually see it with your eyeballs and feel it in your body. I think that is something I'd be really interested in trying, even if it's just one time. Now, I think you could probably just be able to pick one card at a time, but if you pick the same card twice in a row, or quickly after the other, the computer remembers that and maybe highlights other things in the card that you can explore the next time that you pulled that card. I don't know. But maybe it's a cool idea for way into the future, or maybe it's already there. I don't know anything about modern technology. Still, I think it's pretty cool, no? So, those were my ideas for decks I wish existed. Did you like my ideas? And most of all, I have to know which of these ideas sounds the best to you and the most achievable to you. If you have any idea on how to make any of these ideas, any of these wishes come true, then also let me know. We need some practical thinking over here, some practical advice. Why not? Now, I know, once more, maybe I'm not actually asking those deck creators to make those decks. I'm just kind of here in my corner quietly, although maybe now you know about it, hoping for those versions of the decks that I love so much to come out one of these days. And maybe they will, who knows. And all the other ideas that don't include different versions of decks that already exist, I would actually also really, really love to see and love to work with. Yeah. So what do you think? Should any of these decks be made? Either way, I'm gonna need to get the full credit for these ideas and obviously at least 50% of the profits made. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. If you love this video, I will link another one in the screen, so don't leave yet because there's much more tarot content on my channel that you can enjoy. If you're new here, please let me know so I can properly welcome you to this online space. Obviously, leave a like if you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you the next time. Bye.